Hi, everybody. Okay, so today we're going to go over, welcome. I see a lot of you are still coming in, so I have an assistant that's adding them in. You are going to be muted, and you're not going to be able to have camera access during this presentation, but if you have any questions, you will be able to chat with me, and I will try to answer the chats as we go, or I will answer them at the very end, okay? So welcome. Today is, I believe, week 4 of our test prep sessions, and we are going to be going over the performance tasks for ELA today. All right, so we're going to go over our mission and vision. So our mission statement, our mission is to inspire and develop innovative, creative, self-directed learners, one scholar at a time. And our vision statement is, our vision is to create a collaborative virtual learning community, inspiring scholars to appreciate the ways in which arts and sciences nurture a curiosity for lifelong learning and prepare scholars to take responsibility for their future success. Again, this slide is for our counselors. If you need any help with anything, test anxiety, social emotional support, or more importantly, for our 5th graders who are going to be moving to 6th grade, you'll be reaching out to your counselor. So these go by last name. You can find your counselor by the beginning letter of your last name. That's who you would contact. There's the phone number, and then there's their email. I'll also be giving these slides at the end so you guys can have this information. All right, so the first thing I wanted to talk about is we're going to talk about test anxiety. On our agenda, what is a performance task? We've done some practice tests. Those are more of the multiple choice type answers. Today, we're going to be talking about performance task and what that is, and then looking at what do the performance tasks look like and what do they include. We went over test anxiety a little bit last week. We're going to go over it a little bit more. So have you ever worried so much over an exam that you've lost sleep or skipped meals? Studied so much for a test that during the exam period, your mind goes blank? Felt extremely nervous or had shortness of breath during a test? Were you worried about the grade or the questions from a test after you've taken it? Then you are suffering from test anxiety, meaning you're probably really nervous about taking a test. So test anxiety is the worry, the uneasiness, or the fear experienced before, during, or after a test. Sometimes we get a little nervous when there becomes important things coming up, right? Sometimes we get nervous when we're going to talk in front of groups. Sometimes we get nervous when we're going to take a test. So we're talking about test anxiety. Sometimes it's that feeling in your stomach where you don't quite feel right or you just get really worried. So any tension or feelings of worry or fear are considered to be test anxiety. Test anxiety is not just before a test, as most of us think. It is very common to experience similar anxiety during and for hours or even days after your test. So there's 6 ways to help kids tackle test anxiety. You can ask questions to clarify. You can teach test-taking basics. You can get tips from your ST. You can encourage positive self-talk. You can teach relaxation strategies, and you can bolster confidence. So I just wanted to share with you. I'm going to share this link. PBS had, this is where we got this from, the 6 ways to help kids tackle test anxiety. And I will go ahead and drop this. I'm going to be dropping a few fun and helpful links into the chat for everyone, for you guys. So I'm going to drop that one in there, and it just goes over what all of these are in more depth. So asking questions, teaching test-taking basics, talking to your teacher, so you guys can go over that a little bit. Something else I wanted to go over is something we have at Compass. So are you feeling extra anxious? Maybe it isn't just test anxiety. We have a place that you might want to come visit. And this right here is something that Compass has, which I thought was really neat. We have these are from our counselors. They're called our coping tools, and they're all guided practice. And I'm going to share this one with you too. And again, all of these slides will be available at the very end, so you guys will be able to access them. But we have some fun videos with mindful breathing, again, the 4-7-8 breathing technique, triangle breathing, mindfulness meditation. There's some yoga, anti-anxiety yoga. So all of these are really good options if you are looking for some ways to relieve some of that testing anxiety. All right, so now we're going to talk about the performance task, what we're here for. Okay, so what is the performance task. So the performance task, a portion of the test that requires students to answer a set of complex questions centered around a common topic or problem. Wow, that's big. Basically what that means you're going to be writing a lot. They're going to give you some problems. They're going to have you read some passages, and you're going to have to write an essay, or you're going to have to write a paragraph. You're going to have to explain your thinking in some words. So the performance task is going to be given to you online. It allows students to respond in ways that are different from how they might respond in the regular paper and pencil tests. So you are allowed to use a paper and a pencil while you're taking this. If you prefer to write it all in a paper and then type it into the computer, you can do that. But it's all going to be typed in online. So the introduction to the performance task, there's going to be 2 performance tasks. Today, we're only going to worry about the ELA, which is language arts. Next week, we're going to go a little bit more in depth into what math performance tasks looks like. But in general, it measures the capacities such as depth of understanding, research and writing skills, or complex analysis with relevant evidence. So, and to lower that down a little bit, basically what that means is you're going to be reading multiple texts and trying to pull information out of them, cite the text, understand what they mean, and show that you understand them by writing. So we're going to be using a lot of real world scenarios for this. So in ELA, the performance task requires you guys to integrate your research and writing to inform or explain, to narrate, or to support an opinion argument for a designated audience. And this one's really small, this little picture right here, but you'll be able to see it bigger later. There's going to be a split screen for you guys. So on the left-hand side, it's going to be all of your rating. And on the right-hand side, you guys can see there's some questions and some empty boxes. That's where you're going to be typing in your answers. So the student is expected to work more extensively with the test materials, such as informational sources, research articles, or tables of data. So in the performance task, you're going to be actually looking at the articles, and you're going to have to cite them in your work. They're going to be looking to see if you understand it. So I'm also going to show you on Writable. I thought this would be super helpful. Let me give you guys the link. Whoops. So this will be the link to join my class if you want to do that. And I'm actually going to walk you guys through it. If you want to join this class, these are just some writing practice. I have my classroom set up so you guys can take for 3rd, 4th, or 5th the writing practice. I think 5th grade has a little more just because 5th grade was more available. 3rd doesn't have quite as much. So I'm going to give you a second to get to this Writable screen so you can sign up with me. It's free. Again, I'll put it in the chat one more time. And once we're here, you're going to click I am a student. Okay, so then this is going to come up. We can sign in with Google, Microsoft, any of this. I believe if I scroll down, am I able to just sign in? I don't have one of these. I couldn't see that. So I'm going to say I don't have a Google account or Microsoft. If you have one of those, you're more than welcome to sign in. So I'm going to say I don't have a Writable account. If you don't have one, let's create one right down here at the very bottom. And so there's my teacher class code. That's where you're going to have to remember. And if you're watching a recording of this, if you go to Writable, my teacher class code is going to be YMAMZ. And then you're going to enter your first name. I'm going to say Christina Vert. I'm going to say CVert1 will be my username. And then my password, I'm going to say Orange1. And then I'm going to continue. All right, and so now you can see it says click here to start your assignment. I'm gonna press got it. And here's all, these are CAASPP test prep writing. You can do this if someone asks, do you have to do this now? You don't have to, you can rewatch the recording. It'll be available within like 24 to 48 hours and it can walk you through it. The code was YMAMZ. I'll write it again right here for everyone. YMAMZ. And then once you're in, you'll be able to see there's 3rd grade. So with the CAASPP, the performance task, you're not sure exactly what writing it's going to give you. The performance can be an informative, it can be a narrative. There's an opinion piece. There's different ones. So I gave all of the different examples on here for you guys. When there's 4th grade, 5th grade, and 3rd grade. So when you click it, and you actually open it up. I'm gonna press got it. Let me see. You'll see that the actual prompt comes up. So this one is the 3rd grade CAASPP PT sources. This one has, this is what it's gonna look like. It won't be as colorful on the real CAASPP testing, but you're gonna be able to see. So in 3rd grade, they're reading about what is an astronaut. Here's your whole text and you're gonna scroll and read it. And then it's gonna show you on this side, your writing prompts. So it's gonna tell you what to do, read it, and then you're gonna have some multiple choice questions. And then your question 1, it's gonna ask you if you explained why the source was the most useful information, and then it's gonna ask you to double check your work. So I highly, highly, highly encourage you guys to go through and do these. It's not like you have to do all of them, but I think it'd be a really good idea if you wanna practice just with your writing, maybe once a week to do one writing assignment to help get you ready and to kind of get a feel for the writing prompts that they're gonna be asking of you. All right, so now, if you didn't get a chance to sign up for Writable, I will have the slides available and I'll have the recording so you guys can walk through it with me again. I'm gonna show you what it looks like on the actual CAASPP website as well. And I'm gonna give you the link. There's a lot of links in following along today, so thank you guys for being so patient. Today is much more of us actually doing. So I'm going to let everyone go ahead and get to this page again. So will it give feedback on their writing? That one, no, but I can get the rubrics for you if you want. And I will send you my email and I can email you the rubrics after because I have the teacher account, or I can send them to you through there. Okay, perfect. And then Julie, if you could, I'm going to have you send me an email too, and then I will send those to you. All right, so everyone should be on the practice test now, right here. We've seen this page a lot recently. All right, so now we're gonna go here. This one, we're just gonna say we're a guest user and we're gonna do a guest session. Next week, we're gonna actually try logging in with a training session. So it'll be a little bit different, but this week we're still using guest user, guest session, just a mock. And we're gonna sign in. All right, and then we're gonna select our grade level. So we have grade 3, we have grade 4, or grade 5. I'm gonna do grade 4 because I think I always do grade 3. All right, now before we have been doing the practice test. So when you've been logging in, you've been logging in as the 4th grade ELA practice test or 5th grade, 3rd grade, the math practice test. Do you see right here? These are your performance tasks. So they're a little bit different. Today, we're gonna look at the ELA performance test. So you're gonna go ahead and click that one right here. Yours might look a little different depending if you're 3rd or 5th grade. And then remember, we're just gonna leave all of this the same. It's already set for us unless you needed any special accommodations. And on this one, the sound and video playback, you have to play it back, otherwise it will not let you move on. So you have to wait for it to play the whole thing. Okay, mine played. I could play the sound. I don't think you guys could hear it, but I could. All right, and so now I'm here. I don't need to view my test settings or view the help guide. And then I will begin the test now. And then some people are asking for me to show it again. Once I go over this and I get people all set up and they want to do a practice test, I'll be able to help you. So I'm just going to show you guys. So this is what your test is going to look like. Remember I told you split screen? The writable one looks a little prettier, right? With all of the colors and everything, but it's essentially the same type of thing. You're going to be reading your articles and then answering the questions on the right. So what I've noticed, moms and dads, that usually this is the hardest part for the younger ones, is being able to toggle between, it's pretty much a split screen at this point. and being able to maneuver this. There is a way where we can make it bigger if you want to, but you're just gonna, like if they wanna read it and then make it smaller, but they're gonna have to be able to refer to the text on the left to do on the right. So this one, they're talking about animals and their surroundings for their informational performance task. So your school's science fair is taking place soon. Your class has decided to focus on doing science projects about animals. You become interested in learning more about where animals live. You have found 3 sources about this topic in the school library. After you have reviewed these 3 sources, you will answer some questions about them. Briefly scan the sources and the questions that follow. Then go back and read the sources carefully so you will have the information you will need to answer the questions and complete your research. You may click on the global notes button to take notes on the information you find in the sources as you read. You may also use scratch paper to take notes. So again, if you want to take notes on here, you can do that. There's your little notepad, or you can do a scratch piece of paper too. So again, there's multiple sources in here. It'll tell you source 1, and then it asks you a question specifically about source 1 and giving 2 details from source 2. So like they said, it's really important to read it and then read your questions and go back. I know that on the state test, they actually are looking for you to say a specific, on source 2, they said, like actually citing, almost like you would do in college. So they actually want you to cite and then type everything in. So this is going to be like your essay portion of your writing. So you have those practice tests, which we practiced those last 2 weeks. And then this is the performance task, which is all of the typing pieces. So if you guys are ready, you can go ahead, you can mute me and you guys can take this, and I'm going to be here to answer questions. Some people hopped in late and are still hopping in. So I'm going to go ahead and just stop the recording, and I'm going to go over again how to log back into the practice test and share the writable with them. So just give me one quick second.